Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dave coming to you from the fire pit of Southern Maryland. It's coming up on about 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. It's about 35 degrees out. We got about a 15 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour breeze slash wind blowing through. So you can see the fire's gonna be dancing for us tonight. Luckily, it's mostly blowing away from me, so that's good for smoke. So I'm smoking another LFD, the LFD Airbender. Again, like I said a couple minutes ago, it's on the budget-friendly side of my top 10. This I got from Dwayne over at Wrangler Star. No, um, Wrangler School, Dry Creek Wrangler School. About 2 years ago, he did a video where he kind of went through his cigars and which ones are budget-friendly, not. So I picked up several of my top 10, and I showed you guys my Tupperware collection. So my top 10 with my 4 honorable mentions. So my top 14, really. Got a box of each, and about half of them come directly from Dwayne over there at Dry Creek Wrangler School. If you watch his channel, he's always smoking a cigar. He used to smoke pipes more, but he seems to have almost given that up. But anyway, LFD Airbender, day 2 this week. Had a really nice slow Saturday in the paddock this morning. You probably saw the 2 shorter videos I put up. They were single subject. One was on the books that really have changed me or most impacted my life. And the other was answering the question if I would speak to expectations and setting expectations in life. So those 2 went out. That was just a nice capstone to my morning, though. I was able to sit in there and get a whole bunch of paperwork done and do all my investment prep for Monday. So what does that mean? It means I go through everything I own and do I want to add to it, get rid of it, or hold it and watch every single thing I own. So I own about 6 cryptos now. I'm holding options, puts, or calls on about 6 stocks. I've got a watch list of another 5 or 6. So I go through and make sure, where do we close on Friday, or crypto? It's open all the time. Where are we now? So I go through all those things. Do I want to add on, hold and watch, or get rid of it? Make sure I'm caught up on all my investment videos from the guys I watch. Understand what they're recommending, understand what they're buying and selling, and adding their activities to my watch list if I feel like it makes sense. And I have all that done. So tomorrow I'll be even slower. Not sure what I'm going to do. Probably watch some training videos. I'm always taking training courses. I figure I'm never good enough to stop learning from somebody. So taking training courses from Johnny Bravo. I've mentioned his name. And then Economic Ninja. Those are the 2 I take a lot of courses from. The 2 guys that I watch their investments as well. So that's what tomorrow will be a slow morning with Anne-Marie, having coffee, and then over to the paddock with the dogs, take some training for a few hours, watch some of you guys. It also means my channel is getting enough feedback, comments, and questions from you guys that it takes me a good hour every day at least to go through every single comment and try to respond to it intelligently, answer questions. Then I'll watch your vids and try to give you guys intelligent comments if I know what to say. Come back over here, run errands if they need be. I had to go to the post office. I had to go to the grocery store again. It's not every day, but I go there probably 2-3 times a week. I prefer to go in with a short list than one monster list. That way I can get in and out fairly quickly. Make sure nothing's need to be done here at the house. I did some tree trimming today. I cut my hand pretty good. Did some tree trimming. Trees, they're the bane of all my homes. Build a fire, sit down and spend some time with you guys. It's a good day. So I really appreciated the question that you guys asked about books that changed me, because it was a great trip down memory lane, getting them all pulled back up and looking through them. The one I want to talk about right now is Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning, because we talk about gap on this channel a lot, and usually I talk about it being the gap between your expectations and your performance, and that gap is the gap between your dream and hope or whatever, and the goal of your and what your life is in reality. That gap gets wider and wider as we get older, and soon it becomes insurmountable, and it breaks our spirit. And you see a lot of broken old men wandering around this planet because they never close the gap. The gap that Viktor Frankl talks about is much more significant. It is the gap between stimulus and response, as he says it. So the example is somebody walks up to you and punches you in the face. The immature man will just punch him back. No gap whatsoever. And the physical punch is just one example. It's really just a metaphor. Life in any given moment can punch you in the face or throw you something that you didn't expect. And how do you respond to that? And if you can create a gap between when something happens to you and when you respond to it, and widen that gap, continually make that gap wider, you become a more mature, more responsible, more contributing person to the world. Because lots of times the world will throw you stimulus that requires no response, and you're only responding out of emotion or a need to save face. And if you can expand the gap between what happens to you and how you respond, or when you respond, we find that many a times no response is the best response. I so love the concept of these gaps. It's stuck with me. It's been with me for decades, and I absolutely love it. Viktor Frankl, when he went through that in the concentration camps, how he survived it, how he came out the way he did, I don't understand. I mean, the book tells how he did it. Just because I read it doesn't mean I understand it. But I love the concept of ever widening the gap between what life presents you and how you respond to it. Oof, I just love that concept. It's a harsh book to read. It's old school. It's hardcore, but it changed me, and I use that concept literally every day. Not great at it. I mean, I've been working at it for 20 years. I still sometimes respond inappropriately and inappropriately quickly at times. So I still, even when I respond, when I create the gap, I still feel the desire to respond inappropriately inside me, and fighting that desire is sometimes the hardest part of my day. So some examples of stimulus that we respond to poorly are pretty easy to come up with. Someone cuts you off in traffic or does something stupid and you want to respond. The person in front of you in line is just an idiot. The checker, you want to ask her, did you actually drive yourself to work? She seems so stupid. Your boss asks you to do something completely off the wall. Your wife does something that just infuriates you. Your children make you do something that you've asked them not to do. A friend asks you for advice and then does the opposite of what you advise. I mean, life throws a lot of these things at us. So those are good examples of where we probably respond too quickly, and therefore probably we respond inappropriately. So I had a great call with one of you today. Had a CEO school call. We were 90 minutes on the phone one-on-one today. And this guy just talked forever. He's very verbal and blah, 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 blah. And at the end, I said, hey, we have got to turn all those words into a plan. And he now, at the end of the call, he's got a plan for 2025 already. He knows how much revenue he's going to make gross. He knows what his expenses are going to be. He knows what his production rate has to be. He knows what his net income or profit is going to be for all of next year. This time next year, he already knows a plan. Man, I'm so proud of him. And now his biggest challenge is executing that plan week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter to make next year the success that obviously he has got his hand on now. He is now in control of what next year looks like. It's that excites me so much. I said to him on the phone, that's when I get excited. When you have a plan that you're in charge of, very few external influences could throw him off the rails unless he chose to go off the rails. He's in charge now. He's going to be the only thing that controls whether he hits his goals next year or not. They're very doable. They're documented. They're achievable. They're light switches. You produced this many or you didn't. You went to this many events or you didn't. You sold at this price or you didn't. You maintained your costs at this price or you didn't. You made this much money gross revenue or you didn't. You made this much profit or you didn't. I mean, it's really, God, it was that clear. I was really proud of him. It was a great hour and a half. One of the hardest things we do to ourselves is expect ourselves to perform one way when we're a different kind of person. And what this guy taught me was a lot of a lot of people are artists or what he called free spirits, and to try to ask an artist or free spirit to be a businessman is a really hard thing. It's a really hard change. My wife is an artist. She's a free spirit, and it took her about 5 years to run the horse farm like a business. And she is really good at it today, but 5, 6 years ago, she never thought she'd be here. So it takes a long time. You're asking for fundamental change in human behavior. And that is really a difficult thing. However, I'd much rather take an artist or free spirit and teach them how to be a businessman than take a businessman to try to teach them to be an artist. I don't know if that's possible. I'm a businessman. You know, God gives us all different gifts. Mine is I can listen to stories and problems and come up with solutions and plans, concrete action steps. I'm gifted with that. I couldn't make a pipe or draw a picture or a painting or sculpt in any way. I mean, my God, for to take someone like me and try to teach him to be an artist, what a nightmare that would be. So I think our CEO school item of the evening will be the I don't wannas. And I talk on here a lot about you have to have a vision, you have to have a dream. You've got to think about that dream. You've got to come up with a plan. You've got to come up with a list of actions. You've got to put them in priority. You've got to do them. Once you got there, though, the thing that kills most people who've come through my class are the I don't wannas. I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock. I don't want to go to the gym this morning. I don't want to work. I worked all day. I don't want to work on my side gig to this afternoon or evening. It's Sunday. I don't want to get up early. It's Saturday. I don't want to get up early. It's Saturday. I don't want to work all day. I don't want to eat right today. It's the I don't want us. It's can you get over? Can you have a burning desire enough? A commitment to your dream enough? Can you believe in it enough to get past the I don't want us every hour? Life will throw you. That's what life will bring you. If you're sitting around waiting, life will bring you an absolute lifetime supply of I don't want us. I don't want to do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it this week. I'll do it after the weekend. I don't want to do it. It's close to New Year's. I'll start it next year after the New Year. I'll make it a New Year's resolution. I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to write down my goals. I don't want to plan them out. I don't want to put an action item list together. And they're all in here. They all come from inside us. But there is an unending, what do they call it? Deep, and a deep bottomless pit. There's a bottomless pit of reasons, excuses, iguanas out there. You'll never run out of them. You just have to stop it and move past them. Wow, I had to go with the hoods and zip up. Breeze makes it really chilly out here. Of course, now the wind just died down because now I'm ready for it. But wow, 30, 35, 34 degrees and 15, 20-mile wind is chilly. So you put the hood up, you zip up, you throw some extra wood on it, right? You adapt, you overcome, you don't quit. So I just put all the video pieces together because I wanted to see, and I just realized with the hood up, I kind of look like the Emperor from Star Wars. The dark side is strong with that one. Anyway, I'm gonna have to keep the hood up because it feels good. So today is winter solstice, December 20th, 2024. Shortest day of the year, longest night of the year. What I always found interesting growing up was that you could have winter solstice and then the next 2 months are colder than the rest of the year. I just find it interesting that as our days get longer, the days get colder. And the reverse happens on June 20th when it's summer solstice. The days start getting shorter, but the weather gets hotter and hotter for 2 or even 3 months. I know there's a whole bunch of retained heat and all the other crap. That's not my point. I just always thought it was interesting that you could have the shortest day of the year and then 2 to 3 more months of colder and colder weather, and then the longest day of the year and then 2 to 3 months of hotter and hotter weather. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm pretty sure you're watching the videos, so if you're the one that was on my call today and you want to out yourself, that'd be great, but I won't. But I'd love to give you kudos for what you're doing. But a guy who outs himself is Jim, Corvette Jim, man. That guy is getting his shit together. I couldn't be more proud of him. It's like he's my kid or something. He spent 3 years climbing out of debt. That's about what it takes most of the time. So if you can get down to the point where you only have a house payment or you have no debt whatsoever, it takes years. So Jim, congratulations. And then this guy went to school to be a gunsmith, and I think it took him a year to finish that course and get certified. Then he had to go find an internship, which he did. Now he's a certified gunsmith, and he's getting work from the shop that he interned in, I believe. And I heard today that they're struggling, but he got called. Someone else called him and said, I need somebody full time. And Jim said, I'm your man. So he's getting work from the old shop. He's working full time come the new year for the new shop. And he's setting up his own business in the garage. That's what I'm talking about. That's a man who's going to make 2025 better than any of the last 3 years. Jim, man, congrats. Stay on the plan, stay on course. You got, in my opinion, you're doing exactly the right things, man. Good job. So there are 3 people in my CEO world that are killing it. Jim is one of them. The guy I talked to today is another one. And then one of my long-term students, Adam. God, he's a young guy. He's like 23 years old. But if he stays the course that he's been on for the last 2 years with us, if he stays on that course for another 5, 6, 7 years, by the time he turns 30, he'll be truly wealthy. Not only what he holds in his portfolio, but his income. So the hardest part with people like that is keeping them on the rails, keeping them from doing something stupid like spending a lot of money on a new car instead of reinvesting it in the next flip. So, but that's 3. That warms my heart to know there's 3 out there doing absolutely perfectly. So again, I throw it out to you. Not that I'm some savant and know everything, but if you're struggling, and need a little bit of help getting a plan together and getting on plan and maybe being held accountable to staying on plan, reach out to me. Send me an email, send me a text, put a comment in one of my videos. I'll be glad to have a call with you. If you live at all close to Maryland, you can come to the paddock and we'll have a meeting and see the paddock for real too. But anyway, again, I don't know everything. I really don't put myself out there as I can solve everybody's problems. That's not it at all. But if I can help you in any way, I love doing it. It's absolutely one of my favorite things to do. So my giveaway pain continues. I've got about 150 people now in my spreadsheet. I literally type everybody who says they're in, goes on my spreadsheet. Every day I type them in. So I think I have 150 as of a couple hours ago. The initial load was a pain. Now I do it several times a day, so it's not so bad. But I'm just surprised at how many people, I know that I put God in the subject line, so I know that was my fault. But anyway, we're under control, but I was surprised at how many are in there. So anyways, been at the horse farm. She runs the horse farm so well. The farm has a reputation, so when anybody leaves, we have about 5 people that want to come in, so we're always full. But we had someone who's announced she needs to leave. She's moving north. And Emery's already given farm tours to several people, so she'll have a slot filled before the woman vacates it. That's kind of businesswoman Emery has become. The free spirit in her has to approve each person personally. They have to come in and basically go through a meeting and go through a farm tour, and Emery needs to assess kind of your farm history and why you're leaving, where you're leaving, and what you're looking for, because she doesn't want to become your next X barn, if at all possible. The farm customers are 100% women. We throw 15 to 18 women together. It's hard to keep them all off each other's throats. Emery's done a pretty good job. Those that come in and mess up the system get fired. We had to shoot several hostages over the years, and Emery's gotten good at it. It was one of the things she hated the most, and it was the last thing she took on as her own duty. But got really good at identifying who is taking a dump in the fish pond or in the punch bowl and messing it up for everybody and telling them they are fired and they have to leave. She does it really compassionately and personally and professionally, but she does fire. And I've always said, in business, you got to shoot a hostage now and then to make the rest behave. So my daughter went down and got her hair done today, which is rare. It's a couple times a year sort of thing, but she has this really long strawberry blonde hair. And I'm going somewhere with this. And it's just as long. It's just beautiful. It's a kind of color women pay to have, but it just grows out of her head. And it's pretty enough hair and she's such a good looking kid that when we used to go traveling, I've told you on past videos that our goal was to get the kids out of the United States once a year just so they could know other countries existed. We were in the Eye of London, which is that giant Ferris wheel looking thing, but each pod holds about 100 people when it's full, and we were in it. It wasn't full, it was about half full. There might have been 50 people in our pod, so we weren't crammed together, but it was standing close, and there's about an 80-year-old woman standing behind my daughter, and all of a sudden she just couldn't help it. She just started petting my daughter, and her daughter was a grown woman and spun around. Mama can't do it. She's an old Italian lady, didn't speak English. But we've had that happen over the years quite a bit, where people just can't help touching her hair. It's so bizarre. But anyway, so that was the whole story, by the way. It ended there. Just whenever she talks about getting her hair done, we always remind her of those old stories. Just like to show you Finn and Sasha out there eating mud, eating leaves. Now they see me. There they go. Of all our dogs, they probably play together the best. Our 2 pups. And look. You don't like the cameras pointed at you. Sasha, Echo. Yeah, what are you barking at? What are you barking at? It's rare that she barks. Echo, stop barking. Here comes Finn. Finn wants to know what all the commotion's about. And there's Chance. Just up there. Don't even know why. He just doesn't want to come down. There's Chance. Alright, enough dogs. You guys all made it. A bunch of people made some funny comments about you, like me and the channel being weird, that it's working, which I really admire. I acknowledge that and say thank you. So let's do something weird today. I'll talk to you. I'm always talking about you need to pray and develop a relationship with God in the good times, just that way you don't treat him like a fire escape. Oh, it's an emergency. It's an emergency. Help me, help me. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what I ask for when I pray. It's a little weird, but weird seems to be working, so we'll go with it. So when I pray, I think back to like King David and King Solomon, what they asked for. They continually prayed for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So that's what I pray for. I pray for Old Testament wealth. I pray for Old Testament impact on other people's lives. And I pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And I also ask for my own little pillar of smoke and my own little column of fire. I'd like to know I was on his path more confidently than I feel it in my daily life. I feel like I'm on the path he wants me on, but I don't know it. Well, anyway, I haven't had a little column of smoke or fire up here yet. And I don't know where my level of understanding, wisdom, and knowledge is either. So I have lots of little things I pray for. You know, Sean traveled to Norfolk, Virginia for a few days. So I pray for that, and I pray for a safe return. I pray for Lauren's safe flight up here and back, and you know, my safe travels across the United States, and for my wife to be safe as, you know, she rides Cooper on the farm. And I mean, I got a million of those, but my big ones are, would he grant me knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and to show me a sign that I'm on the path he wants me on. If I'm off the path, if my journey is a bit astray, I'd like him to help me correct it and show me the way. So those are my big ones. We can talk about a tobacco subject for a minute. Several of you asked me if I prefer cigars over pipes, and I can understand that, because a lot of my videos are Creekside, where I talk about the tobacco, the cigar lounge. I show you my humidor. I talk about my Tupperware system. Out here, all my fireside chats, my fire table chats, my dog yard chats are all with a cigar. And so again, after giving all that testimony, I would say that I would choose a pipe over cigar every time. If they were lying side by side, I'd pick up my pipe. I far enjoy pipes over cigars. However, dragging a pipe and all the accoutrements that you need to make it work right out here is a pain in the ass. So I choose a cigar. You can pretty much light it and forget it. Sometimes you got to touch it up, but by and large, I smoke cigars out here only because of the convenience. I like them. I really do enjoy them, but I enjoy the pipe more. I enjoy the taste of the different pipe tobaccos more than I do the taste of the cigar. I enjoy the smoke the pipe generates more than the smoke the cigar generates. You know, you'll never catch me smoking a cigar inside the paddock or inside my Wyoming house. I pretty much smoke cigars out here in the dog yard, the fire table, when I'm out at the creek here in Wyoming. But pretty much anytime I'm smoking in the paddock or in the house in Wyoming, it's always a pipe. Something we've talked about once or twice in the channel about bringing it again. When you smoke a cigar and you get down to the last quarter of it, I learned a trick called purging, where you blow air fairly forcefully through the cigar and kind of blow it out. blows out a lot of what you've been drawn into the cigar, because I mean this is the part that all that other 3/4 cigar got smoked into. You can kind of blow all that back out, and you can even blow heat back out. It can make the last third or quarter of your cigar much more like the first half. There, we can say we did tobacco today. So I really enjoyed Scott's video yesterday. I think he did it yesterday. Who's a Marshall? I enjoyed his. He did a Freedom Friday video on a 380 that he's had for decades. It was a nice gun. My God, it was a direct copy of the Walther PPK, that's for sure. His comment about the holster, though, is what I really thought was cool. He talked about he had bought a nylon holster. It was one of the most comfortable he'd ever had. And, you know, I've got Kydex for all my sidearms, but I much prefer the leather. And, you know, it's doesn't dig into you. It captures your body warmth. It molds to you. You know, it doesn't lock in like Kydex. Like what I carry my Glock 43X in is a leather, and it fits so perfectly. It's actually hard to pull out. So it's never at risk of falling out. But it does not have a lock like Kydex. So I certainly understand the desire for Kydex, but I much prefer leather. And when I carry concealed inside the waistband, I have a wonderful leather for I have a standard Glock 43 that I carry in the summer here in Maryland, because I have to keep it truly concealed or people try to get you in trouble. But so that's a leather one as well, and I just love those. Some of my larger weapons I can't find, like my 44 mag, the 8.5 incher, 8 5/8. I can only find leather for that one anyway. And on the converse, my my Desert Eagle 50 cal, the only option I could find after looking for months was a Kydex. It's a monster too, but I don't think I can find a leather. I'd have to go to a chest rig or a under the arm shoulder rig, and those just don't work for me here in Maryland. Not like I try to carry either of those cannons concealed. That would be silly. I could do it with a coat like this, but I just choose not to. I found it interesting that police chief carries a 380. You know, I'm a huge convert to the 9mm or the 10mm just for stopping power, but no one knows better than the police chief what to carry. So, you know, I doff my hat, as they say, to the 380. I just don't own any. I own a couple 22s, but I would never carry them. And but I don't own a 38 or 38 special or a 380. I just don't carry that size. But Scott sure loved that one, and Jim's got about 100 38s, 22s, and 380s. So obviously, I'm missing something. But Scott, I thought it was a great video. I really enjoyed that one, man. So the other thing I haven't shown you in a while is my cigar tool. So I want to show it to you because I'm about to use it. When I get down to a stubby, I have this little thing. It's a drill. You can ream through the middle of a bad smoker, but on one end is these are punch cuts, by the way. But on one end, I've got this sort of toothpick looking thing. It's a dual toothpick, and I put it in here, punch it all the way through. And now I've got a handle for my stubby. I smoke it all the way down. When I throw this thing in the fire pit, it's going to be about that big. I'm going to smoke it all the way to here, pretty much. Anyway, just a wonderful little tool. These things are available on Amazon. They're not that much money, but it's pretty cool. It really makes the last 25% of your cigar, for me, much more enjoyable. All right, guys. Well, you've managed to waste another perfectly good 30 or 40 minutes with me here. So we'll call it quits for the evening. I just want to ask God to bless you and your life and those around you. I'd like to ask God to turn his ear to your prayer. I ask God that he make his face shine upon you, that he bless your life as well as he's blessed mine. Hope you had a good Saturday. Hope you got a great Sunday in front of you. Hope you have a good week in front of you. Got Christmas staring us in the face. I sure hope you're having a great holiday season. I certainly am. I've had a great month so far. We are done and ready. I owe you guys a video of our Christmas decorations, so I'll get on that. All right, guys, we'll see you again tomorrow and Sunday. And good night, everybody.